Hi everyone, Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, and they're not. You're watching Big Rye and the Fat Guy. Fine, I'll say it. Boom shakalaka.
The weird part is I couldn't remember if he was a midget or a prostitute. What's up, YouTube? It's the NFL Week 6 picks against the spread video for the 2020 NFL season. Fat Guy, we are 32 and 43 for 2020. 6-6 weeks so far for us. Still the one Monday night game and Tuesday night game to see where the dominoes fall. But who cares about last week? Fat Guy, on to week 6. We're going to start off with the Sunday game. Denver Broncos at New England. New England's 8-point favorites at home. 32% of early bettors are on the Pats. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I hate laying points, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to clean things up a little bit. And I'm going to start with New England here. I don't mind them. I think they're 8 points better than the Denver Broncos? I sure do. They aren't as favored here as far as the betting market goes. And is this a rare at-home contrarian play where you lay points more than 7? I'm hoping this is one of those. I don't mind laying 8. And here's an interesting thing. This game was moved a week, correct, Big Rye?
Yes.
Just let's think from a handicapping perspective. Who's more likely to benefit with an extra week, Denver or New England?
I'm going to go with Bill Belichick, whoever he's coaching.
I get this is the luxury of this Tom Brady-less team, the New England Patriots. They don't have the clout. They don't. The last game they played left a sour taste in bettor's mouth. That's why I kind of like the New England Patriots this week. I don't love it, but this is easily a contest pick. And we'll see if we can't get that number down by, hopefully a point. 7, I'm happy to lay 7 with New England. For the contest for now, I'm going to lay 8. Hopefully I can lay 7, maybe 6.5 if I'm really lucky. But I think this market is locked in. I'm going to take the New England Patriots. I'm going to lay 8 points.
Next up, the Houston Texans travel to Tennessee to take on the Titans. There is no lines out at the moment, Fat Guy, so we've put out a prediction of 6-point favorites is Tennessee. This is a really, really hard line to predict, and there's a reason why this line isn't out. Titans still haven't played with all of the COVID scares. We have no clue who's going to be even playing in this game. So we're going to list it at 6 for the contest, so that way people can take their sides, probably get a lot better price than what we got. But Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I set the line, so 6 is where it's at. You and I did through a little bit of argument. We're purely guessing here. Educated guessing. We feel like 6 should be about right, assuming there's no major changes to either roster. I think Houston coming off their first win of the season, ironically with their interim head coach Romeo Crennel, who's had plenty of experience in that position, and Tennessee having a lot of rest. What I hope to see in this game is I want to see right tackle Isaiah Wilson play. I'm hoping that he gets to. He's the first round pick, one of only 2, I believe, between him and quarterback Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers to not suit up for a game. And he's a big road grading right tackle, which falls in line with what Tennessee does. And you and I really, really like watching the Titans when they're rolling. And I'm hoping he plays and elevates the Titans. So I'll just lay the 6 points. This is really just a fantasy lineup. This isn't really – I don't even know if we can really even count this as far as to major results, but we're going to keep it in the contest for this week. I'm going to lay 6 points with the Titans, but this is just a fun pick, if anything, because this line is imaginary out of both of our heads.
Next up, the Cleveland Browns travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Steelers are 4.5-point favorites at home. 47% of early bettors are on the Steelers. Fat Guy, who you got?
All of a sudden, this is a barn burner, and this division has gotten. Are they competing for best division in football, Big Rye?
They're the best division in the AFC, if you ask me. NFC still has them, I believe, but this is the
NFC
best
West
division in the AFC.
Obviously, you have cellar dwellers in the Cincinnati Bengals, but 4.5 points. I'm going to be taking the Cleveland Browns. They had a big public win against Dallas, but that's starting to look less and less popular. They were able to beat a team that I thought was better in Indy. I mean, obviously Indy could still be better, but in this instance, they were able to come away with a victory. And the Cleveland Browns are 4-1 I mean, don't quote me on this. I'm pulling it out of my brain. I'd imagine the first time since 1993. That would be my guess. Just shows the ineptitude of the franchise. But like I said, I had hope for this franchise with Kevin Stefanski and new general manager Andrew Berry, both rookies at their position this year, and Cleveland having a very strong offensive presence and an efficient O-line play, especially considering they have a first-round left tackle. All of these handicapping things out the window. I think that this line could move in favor of the Browns. Steelers are hot. Chase Claypool with 4 touchdowns, a Canadian boy just like the two of us from not far away, able to set a rookie record, I believe franchise record, if not NFL record. And I think that's more fantasy relevant. The Steelers are on the board. People like the Steelers. I think that the contrarian play, although ever slightly, because there is still some hope for Cleveland, I'm going to be taking the Browns. I'll probably bet on them at 4.5, but I'm hoping to get a little bit of number. 4.5 with really good juice would be my would really make me satisfy me, whet my appetite as a gambler. So I'll take the Cleveland Browns. I'll take the points.
Yeah, I think 4.5 is just too much. I see this game settling at 3, so I'm with the fact I think you get on this game early before the line moves, because I don't see it going the other direction, that's for sure. Next up, the Baltimore Ravens travel to Philly to take on the Eagles, who are 7.5-point underdogs at home. 44% of early bettors are on the Eagles. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, I mean, the uneven Eagles, they had chances to cover. It was a really interesting game, and I almost think that it was close to being a blowout. Miles Sanders had a huge run that kind of resurged the Philadelphia Eagles. The Baltimore Ravens have just, aside from that Chiefs game, every performance seems dominant. I mean, they're just wiping out the Bengals on the weekend. It doesn't matter how big the spread is when you play like that against the Bengals. You're going to cover it. 7.5, though, I think is a good number here. And this is one last week I was on the right side of a lot of good numbers, and the lines moved against me each way, which makes me more confident in what I selected last week, despite the results. It's decisions, not results, people. 7.5, I think, is a good number. If you get it with good juice, I suggest taking this now. This is an Eagles play all the way. I don't love it, obviously, because Baltimore is one of the premier teams in the National Football League. I don't like laying heavy money on or against really, really good teams and really, really bad teams. And I think the Ravens fall into a really, really good team category. So this is a small play Eagles for me in the contest and IRL.
Next up, the Washington football team travels to New York to take on the Giants, who are 4-point favorites at home. 55% of early bettors are on Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, the winless Giants have been in a shootout. I mean, every game pretty much, it feels like, or at least they've been in it. The Steelers are the only ones that I feel have really, really pulled away. And it was close last week for all intensive purposes. And this week, it was a last-second field goal there, Big Rye, or last possession field goal?
Yeah, the Giants lost to Dallas on that last-second field goal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like they're betting against them has been unprofitable. Let's put it that way. However, though, I think this is the game where there's a team with much more due up, and they're a little bit due down, even despite having an emotional pitfall in that loss against Dallas. We'll touch on the gruesome Dak Prescott injury later when we get to the Cowboys. That being said, I'm going to be taking the Redskins, and a welcome back Alex Smith, who has made Big Ryan and I a lot of money in the past, considering he's a great cover quarterback. It's the play calling put him in a lot of danger, especially with the pressure that was on his offensive line, and I hope that cleans up a bit for Alex Smith. I'm not sure how this betting market is very difficult to predict, because these are two of the worst teams in the league. Let's say, Big Rye, they're division rivals. I think 4 points is too many, though. I really do.
4 points is way too many for the Giants. They do not deserve this respect against almost any team in the league.
Yeah, exactly. They're not 4 points better than anybody. I feel like this is, even from a handicap perspective, this is a 2.5 game. That's it. Maybe a 2. And if Alex Smith even returns to some fraction of what he used to be, I honestly think this should be Redskins minus 2.5, to be honest. Or sorry, Washington football team. I told you I'm going to be doing this all year. 4 is just way too many for me, and I suggest betting this early. If you can get 4 with good, like don't lay like minus 120 or something silly like that. I'd rather just take plus 3.5 and like minus 101 if you can get something like that. Take good juice, even if you have to sell half a point. I like the Washington football team. I think they're going to game plan their offense around Alex Smith. At least I hope so. Doesn't look like Haskins is making back anytime soon, and Kyle Allen could be in concussion protocol. I mean, if Alex Smith is good to go, why would you want to go elsewhere? Really? I mean, Kyle Allen could start, but I'm just hoping that a healthy Alex Smith returns to form and brings us a cover like he has done in the past. Give me Washington and give me the points.
Next up, the Atlanta Falcons travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings, who are 3.5-point favorites at home. 60% of early bettors are on the Vikings. Fat guy, who you got?
You know, Vikings covered, but I was heartbroken that they lost in one of the most. Oh God, Seattle is so lucky. They're just on the benefit of everything. But they're playing the Atlanta Falcons, who just cleaned house this evening and fired their general manager as well as their head coach. And that inspires some confidence in me. I've been betting on the Falcons pretty much every week, I believe. And this is going to be no different. I think this is a good number, 3.5 points. I think that they're better off, maybe. This is going to be a little bit of Ewing theory. They're going to get better. It's addition by subtraction, perhaps. They got nothing to lose. I'm not sure who the interim is going to be. That being said, I do like Atlanta Falcons in this spot. We're just going on talent. I mean, they don't have to be fancy. Just talent-wise, lining up with the Vikings shouldn't be that much of a problem for Atlanta. And 3.5 points is just too many, I think. I think this is another 2.5 point. I think this is a buy now. You know, assuming you get good juice, don't lay minus 120. The Vikings have been hanging around. They could have easily won that game against Seattle. We'll go over that fourth down decision, I believe, is the right one. You guys can fight with me in the comment section about that. When you can shut out the game on 4th and inches, you do it. And especially when the other team has to go 95 yards to get a touchdown. I think that was the right play. It's unfortunate for Mike Zimmer, who must feel his seat heating up just a little bit, even though it's unfortunate that he just lost in dramatic fashion. Great effort for the Vikings. Great cover for the Vikings. Thank you, Vikings. But now we're going to go the other way. We're going to go with Atlanta. We hope they have similar type luck as to how Houston was able to have maybe their best performance of the season with another Bill O'Brien addition by subtraction situation. I do like the Falcons, and I do like the bounce back, and I think I think it's ample for it. I don't mind this bet whatsoever, and I feel like the pressure's almost off them. I'm using a lot of handicapping terms, which I don't like. The betting market seems to favor Minnesota at the moment, but I think this number is in Atlanta written all over it, and you should take it now.
Next up, the Detroit Lions travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, who are 3.5-point underdogs at home. 38% of early bettors are on the Jaguars. Fat guy, who you got?
How can you lay 3.5 on the road with Detroit? Like, what world do we live in? Against the Jets, I can understand. That is the only team. Even the lowly Jags, no way. I'm getting 3.5. Another great number that I'm suggesting buy now. 3.5 is a great point spread at home. The Lions are poorly coached. You could make the argument about the Jags too. Jags have a worse roster, but I mean there's a lot of young talent on the team that could improve with time. I do think this is a coin flip game, though. I really do. And if I'm getting 3.5 points, I'll take the flip all day, all night. I mean, slight coin flip in favor of the Lions. Let's say 53-47. That still lends a lot of equity in me taking the Jacksonville Jaguars with 3.5 points. It is a contrarian play at home with points. I think that goes without saying. This is a pretty good play. Like I had mentioned, I wouldn't want to load up too many units, only because, like I said, it's a bit tougher to bet on some of the worst teams, and these are two of the worst teams that will be featured, in any weekend. the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jags are in the bottom tier. But I think it could be an interesting game from a fan perspective as well, because they're quite evenly matched with a slight edge, like I had mentioned, to Detroit. Especially because they have the best quarterback, Matthew Stafford, against Gardner Minshew. All of that being said, 3.5 points at home as a contrarian home play. I like the Jacksonville Jags.
And like the fat guy said, he considers this game a coin toss. You can get the Jags plus 150, maybe even higher depending on your book. So it's definitely a nice money line play as well on the Jaguars.
A juiced coin toss.
Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals travel to Indy to take on the Colts, who are 9-point favorites at home. 46% of early bettors are on the Colts. Fat guy, who you got?
Speaking of games I don't love, this one, I'm not even interested in watching this one necessarily. Colts laying 9 is just too many. I think even though the woeful Bengals are capable of laying plenty of eggs, we're able to get a tie a couple weeks ago against the Eagles. So, I mean, could we make a lateral movement and at least compete against the Indianapolis Colts? I don't see why not. There's a theory that I've been kind of pondering in my head, is despite a team being much stronger, and a lot of lines are set by like a tier system. However, all teams aren't built the same. Much like here's a good example. Tennessee is a strong team, maybe not as strong as, let's say, as Kansas City, but Tennessee is capable of beating anybody. We can agree on that. We can, especially how strongly they're undefeated right now, beat New England in the playoffs. Obviously, I'm talking about a different team, but Tennessee's chances of covering higher spreads, I feel, are at a lower percentage, if you guys know what I'm saying. And I feel like the Colts are one of those teams. Colts can compete with the best, I think, and beat the best. But to be the best, you got to beat the best. Now, that's a little bit of wrestling slang I'm throwing your way. But the Indianapolis Colts, 9 points is too much. I feel like this is more a 6.5, 7. This feels like a handicap week in how I'm talking about it, because the lines have been so split. I'm going to have to use that type of terminology. So I'll take the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll take the 9 points. In real life, I'm not sure I'm going to bet this game. I'm probably not going to touch it. Take the Bengals, take the points, and I think that's probably the best way of going. Laying too many with the Colts doesn't seem financially responsible.
All right, fat guy, on to the final early day game where the Chicago Bears travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers, who are 3-point favorites at home. 62% of early bettors are on the Panthers. And fat guy, I'm going to break it out because I don't think a lot of people are respecting this. But to me, this is a 5-star entertainment game. Bears, Panthers, early game, Sunday. Who you got?
With the points, the Bears, because I think this is another coin flippable game. The Carolina Panthers, I've liked them. I told you, Teddy Bridgewater covers. Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback. This is a team. I like the Panthers going forward. I think they're a team of the future. They're interesting. They're fun to watch to me. I quite like them. The Bears got it done when we really needed them on Thursday.
Hell and yeah.
Would you call it an ugly performance, Big Rye, against the Bucs?
I think it was a scrappy performance from the Bears.
Oh, see, ugly and scrappy are interchangeable euphemisms and cacophonisms. I don't know if I'm saying the second word right, but we're going with it anyways. I'm going to take the Bears, and I'm going to take the 3 points in what is a contrarian situation, and it does seem like a coin flip. I do like the Bears considerably, considering the game is really that close. Carolina is coming off also a really big win for them. Obviously, they beat the lowly Falcons, but they're 3-2 all of a sudden, Big Rye, after starting 0-2, losing the first weeks to the Raiders in week 1 and I believe the Cardinals in week 2. And this is a 3-game winning streak, so that must inspire some confidence in gamblers going forward. Even though the Bears were able to eke out a victory on Thursday night, rather. Like I said, most people would see that as probably an ugly victory, and perhaps a lot of amateurs would use the term lucky. So that's good. If the Bears are just lucky, then I'll take them in a coin flip when I get the points. Bears +3, book it.
Only 2 midday games. We'll start off with Jets, Dolphins. Dolphins are 5.5-point favorites. 81% of bettors are on the Dolphins. Fat guy, this seems like an obvious pick. Who you got?
Well, this is one of those things. I'm not going to do it anymore, guys. I don't even care. I don't care if they cover. I can't put money on the Jets. And I was trying to think in every model in my head, this line is higher. It's at least 7. 5.5 isn't enough points to take the Jets. They're bad. They're bad. They're the worst team in the NFL. I think everyone would agree. This line seems fishy. It seems too good to be true. And usually in that situation, I load up. But this team is particularly bad. And their ugliness knows no bounds. I mean, enough not nice stuff I've said about the Jets. Dolphins with a fantastic performance. I don't mind laying 5.5 and losing. Dolphins aren't getting the respect. Maybe it's from their the malaise of their bad first year quarter from last year. They finished strong. They're playing reasonable going forward now. I think the Dolphins are really well coached. I think their Adam Gase has been a nightmare, and I don't mind. I don't mind jumping ship for once. I did it all last year with the Bengals, just taking them over and over and over, and they didn't. The covers didn't come, and I've been doing that a few years with some of those teams. You know what? This week I'm just not going to do it. I'm not. The contrarian system says take the Jets. I'm not going to do it. I'm taking the Dolphins. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bet it, but for once in the contest, you guys are going to lay the points, and I'll take the better team. Dolphins, points.
You heard it here first. The Dolphins are better than the Jets. And the final midday game, only 2 this week. Green Bay Packers at Tampa Bay. Bucks are 1.5-point underdogs at home. 53% of early bettors are on the Bucks. This is going to be the game that people watch during this time slot. Fat guy, who you got?
Well, you're going to be watching this game during the time slot? Well, of course they are. It's Tom Brady versus the undefeated Packers, who have looked fantastic. I mean, Brady looked woeful on Thursday. Not woeful, that's a little bit harsh. But out of sorts, out of sync. There are a lot of bad penalties been taken by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Green Bay looks like a well-oiled machine. Aaron Rodgers looks revival of a career. Thought he was on the downswing. So did Green Bay, perhaps, when they drafted Jordan Love in the first round. Perhaps they might be regretting that, considering the progression. Or maybe that's the boost that Aaron Rodgers needed. This is a 50-50 split game. There's no contrarian pick. But I think that this line could get better for the Bucks. I'm hoping to bet the Bucks and maybe get like a good money line price, like a plus 135 would be nice, something on that nature. Or maybe even 3 points if I'm really, really lucky. I like the Buccaneers. I think they're going to correct some mistakes. And this is another game where I kind of feel like it's a 55-45 for Green Bay, but if I get good juice, like 130, I don't mind taking the gamble on the Tampa Bay Bucks. Give me the Bucks. I'll take the 1.5 in the contest, but in real life, I'm looking to take them on the money line because it's a less than a 3 spread. Better yet, less than 2, because 2 you could argue is a higher push frequency because of the missed field goal, missed point after try, which has kind of skewed the value of the 3 number. We don't have enough data over this sample to really figure out the push frequencies of 3 and 2, but I think 2 is more of a significant number than it's ever been. So 1.5 is nothing. Just take the money line. If we can get the line to shift up to 3, then I'd happily take the Bucks there. If not, let's look for even 125. I don't mind the Bucks. Bucks plus money, Bucks plus points.
Right now, Bucks at Pinnacle are plus 112, so you'd still be waiting on that price to jump
absolutely.
up a bit, and it could be possibly a better price at other books. All right, Fat Guy, on to Sunday Night Football, where the Rams take on the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are 3-point underdogs at home. 12% of early bettors are on the lowly Niners at the moment. Fat Guy, who you got?
I'll take the lowly Niners, get 3 points at home. I don't really find them that lowly. I actually think the Rams are one of the best teams in the league. This is a divisional rival, another coin flip situation where I'm getting points. And it is going to be a contrarian divisional game at home. Don't mind those at all. 3 points is great. If I could get 3.5, that would be something. I do see this line shifting, though. Don't you think, Big Rye?
I could see the Rams going up to 3.5.
Yeah, that's where, and that's the sweet spot for me as a bettor. Is if I can get that 3.5, that extra half point gives me a few more percentage points, and that's all we're we're cutting quarters here. It's really, really tough to make a living in this business. So you got to look for those edges. As it stands, I'm going to take the Niners plus the 3 points. And hopefully in real life, I'm going to get them up to 3.5. The Niners, of course, got blown out by the Miami Dolphins. So that should affect them in the eyes of the public. Whereas the Rams, I mean, they took care of business against football team. But it's fun to say that. The Rams took care of business against football team. So the Rams did what they were supposed to do, and the Niners lost as a considerable favorite against Miami. So that should be able to maybe get me my half point. Half point with good juice. I want like minus 108 or something like that. I'll take the Niners. I'll take the points, and hopefully it moves to 3.5 so I can bet it in real life.
Fat Guy, on to Monday night, where we're going to have a doubleheader, at least scheduled for now, where the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills, who are 4.5-point underdogs at home. 21% of early bettors are on the Bills. Fat Guy, who you got?
I'll take the Buffalo Bills and the points. And here you go. The Chiefs are not impervious to losing. They lost to the Oakland Raiders at home for the first time in a long time. Hey-yo. And I said Oakland, I mean Las Vegas. And like I said, I'm going to be doing that a lot this year with a lot of these new changes to both the names and locations of some of these NFL franchises. 4.5 points for a Bills team who, they've yet to play. So, things could change. And they're playing on Tuesday. It's a weird year. We're all going to have to make concessions. This 4.5 could change. So I'm definitely not betting it early. It doesn't make any sense. You could make the argument to take the Chiefs now if that's who you like, because considering that if your book offers it and there is some sort of injury like a Josh Allen, Tre'Davious White, something in that nature that could affect the line. White's maybe not the best example. He's a cornerback, but he might be the best cornerback in the league. Maybe able to even stop Tyreek's Hill reign of terror. Mind you, he's got a lot of rushing touchdowns so far, which is a little bit bizarre. All that being said, these are two of the better teams, and I get the home team, and I get 4.5 points. I don't have access to the weather report, so I can't really say whether this could favor Buffalo, because I imagine a cold weather game is more of a Buffalo territory. Two of the best quarterbacks in the game right now duking it out. Josh Allen, I think maybe has arrived. He's improved considerably. I'm using more handicap terms this episode because a lot of the games are tighter, so I want to keep some congruency. And Bills are a contrarian favorite or a contrarian underdog at home, and they're a really strong team, a tier 1, tier 2 team. So I'm pretty comfortable taking these points. But the Chiefs are as dangerous as anybody, so this would be a small play for me. I like the Bills, assuming that their roster gets healthier rather than regresses after their Tuesday night foray. So give me the Bills, give me the points.
Just a little tidbit. Next Monday, Buffalo. It's going to be a little bit chilly, cloudy with showers, so hopefully lots of rain. But it says only 1 to 3 millimeters, so not a high chance, 70% chance of rain. You guys didn't come here to listen to weather reports, so on to the second Monday night game where the Arizona Cardinals travel to Dallas to take on the most likely Dak Prescott-less Cowboys, who are 3-point underdogs at home. 28% of early bettors are on the Cowboys. Fat Guy, who you got?
Well, I'm pretty sure the Cowboys will be Dak-less. Unless he's Wolverine or something. I think he got surgery this evening. One of the most brutal injuries you can get. It's just unfortunate. I'm still going to take them. It's 3 points at home against a struggling Cardinals team. This Dallas Cowboys team could become a dumpster fire real fast, despite having one of the more impressive rosters in the NFL. Not really sure what's going wrong. Obviously, there's some serious coaching deficiency on the defensive side, considering how many points they're giving up, more than anyone else in the NFL. But they were able to put up lots of points, and this should affect this Cowboys team. But the line is, I don't know, I get 3 points at home, and it kind of seems like an easy Cardinals play. This one is too good to be true, but this one I kind of see fishy. Maybe the drop-off is minimal because of the system of the offense, and maybe the defense will be able to right itself against an interesting Arizona offense. 3 points, contrarian at home. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. I'd like to get a better number in real life. This is a little bit of a weird game and hard to handicap, hard to understand the market because of the injury ramifications. But I think that the market would shift if any event towards the Cardinals. A lot of the shops have it at 2.5 right now. 3 is a rarer number, but I could see it go even higher because I think the injury will stick in most amateur bettors' minds and make Cardinals a more attractive choice. So I'm going to take the Cowboys, even though it would be a really small play if I were to make it with a significant line move in my direction, clearly. So let's take the Cowboys. Let's take the points. But in betting, it'd be tentative contest for sure.
Yeah, this is a weird line. I feel like this line is actually going to get up to 4.5 for the Cardinals. So if I was giving advice, I would say wait on this game. The fat guy and I like the Cowboys because of the contrarian play, and people are going to be high on the Cardinals, but I'm just surprised to see this line at 2.5, possibly 3. So maybe early on jump on the Cardinals, but that's just off of our minds predicting what this line is going to be at when it closes.
Hold on, Big Ride. There could be a middling play too. If you get at 2.5 and Cowboys at 4.5, you could have key numbers of 3 and 4, and that would be worth it considering the push frequencies. So middling play alert. Didn't even realize till right now because that's a good point considering the news of Dak Prescott could shift the line based on amateur betting patterns.
All right, fat guy. On to the lightning round. We'll start off with Denver at New England.
New England Patriots.
Houston at Tennessee.
It's a fun one. Tennessee Titans made-up line.
Cleveland at Pittsburgh.
Cleveland Browns.
Baltimore at Philly.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Washington at the New York Giants.
Washington football team.
Atlanta at Minnesota.
The new look Atlanta Falcons.
Detroit at Jacksonville.
Jagrags.
Cincinnati at Indy.
Burrows Bengals.
Chicago at Carolina.
BDNs Bears.
Jets at Dolphins.
I'm laying the points with the Dolphins. I'm tired of this.
Packers Bucks.
Buccaneers.
Sunday Night Football, the Rams at San Francisco.
Niners.
And then a Monday night doubleheader. We'll start off with Kansas City at Buffalo.
A healthy Bills, let's hope.
And Arizona at Andy Dalton's Dallas Cowboys.
A not so healthy Cowboys.
All right, guys, let's take a look at the 2020 Week 5 leaders as of now. Cash only, no checks, as well as Billy369 are tied at 9-3. Congratulations, Billy369. This is the second time you are at the top for the picks video. Only 5 weeks into. Impressive. 2 out of 5 weeks, Billy. Moving on up.
Definitely.
And let's just take a quick look. We got, like I said, cash only, no checks. Billy369, as well as a friend of the show, Mark DLC. True or False, one of the fat guy's favorites. Finkel is Einhorn. Walton is Toddfield, as well as Untouchable. Shout out Untouchable. Shout out Corey Andy. Addie's Daddy. High Roller. Adam Gase. For Texans head coach. Everyone 9-3 or 8-4. Mark's at 8-3. Good for 72%. A good week for these top 10.
Absolutely. Seems to be a theme. I can't believe 10 out of 74 participants roughly were able to score this high, but that's pretty good. Good. Yeah, the group average is getting higher, I'll tell you that much. No thanks to us.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, fat guy, on to the overall leaderboard where Insert Clever Pun is still on top. 49 wins in 75 games. Good for 65.3%. Big shout out to Insert Clever Pun. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I'd watch out for Billy369. He's rising the rankings. That's for sure. Fleabit Peanut Butter Monkey. I can barely say that. Just one off the lead as well. This is really, really impressive. All of these numbers, I can promise you, are going to come down, unfortunately. But hey, I hope I'm proven wrong, and you can do the near impossible and finish with a 65%.
You got to hear what's on the fat guy's mind there, because he threw in the peanut butter on the Fleabit Peanut Monkey, which I thought was a nice tidbit for a guy that's nicknamed the fat guy.
Oh, I think about food. That's what I do, right? Yeah.
All right, on to the JS715. Name of the week, honorable mentions. Fat guy, take away peanut butter.
Okay, there is a gentleman named Roland Walton that trolls our live streams, and we seem to think that he could possibly be Dylan Toddfield.
Cue the music.
Join us for cue the music. So join us for a live stream, so maybe you can help us uncover the mystery about who Roland Walton is. All that being said, they're a lot of fun, and that's where a lot of these callbacks seem to refer to. So my first honorable mention is Finkel is Einhorn, Walton is Toddfield. Toddfield is a man. I added that affectation at the end, mostly because I'm a big Ace Ventura fan. It's our childhood. Adam Gase for Texans head coach, obviously. Segueing into I'm seeing ghosts. Fat guy's unibrow. I don't think I have one. I think it's maybe the brim of my glasses. I'm open to it. Anthony Davis is a good-looking man. Fat guy gave Trump COVID, eh? Oh, I definitely did. We were both in the airport bathroom. We were toe tapping. You know what kind of stuff happens after that. Roland Walton is my daddy. Oh, there you go. Another callback. That was pretty close to winning. I got to be honest. These aren't in order, by the way. And Little Ryan, the slightly overweight guy. If only that were the truth.
This is the JS715 Name of the Week. Whoa, kaboom!
Roland Walton hearts Ted Kaczynski. This is again a callback to our live streams we do every Sunday night football and most Monday nights and perhaps Thursday nights. We're going to be doing this. You'll get the little hit the bell. I never say it because it's hokey. Everyone says it. Hit the bell. All you have to do is just swipe like, no, I don't want to do it. Or join us. Jump in the chat. You'll get all the side jokes. They're a lot of fun. Perhaps you can win a name of the week by having a callback to the live stream. So Roland Walton hearts Ted Kaczynski. The manifest, I got to be honest, it's very convincing.
All right, fat guy. Remember, all of our followers can make their picks for week 6.
We're at the end of the video.
BigRyanTheFatGuy.com, $100 prize for most regular season wins. It's going to be tough now, but everyone still has a chance. And that's it for NFL Week 6 picks against the spread. Fat guy, your thoughts on Week 6?
There's a lot of, the market's pretty stagnant. So be sure to, honestly, this is the strength of what we do comes down to following the market. And it's difficult for this video to really capitalize on it. So watch Big Rye's video coming out Friday, Saturday, something in that nature, and you're really going to get a better perspective. You might end up not betting, but you might find an edge, and that's all we can do. So look for the video, try and find your edge.